We spent 2 days in Tunis, which might be one of the most overlooked capitals in the Mediterranean. It's an affordable North African city in Tunisia with plenty to see in a small area. You can jump from Roman ruins to a village that feels like Santorini but better, all while getting a real sense of North African life.
To get by, doesn't make it easy. The other piece of my heart moves slow.
We began our first day at the Central Market of Tunis and the beating heart of Tunis life. Although the early morning crowd had already left, many parts of the market were still alive, piled with dates, spices, olives, and fruit and vegetables. If you want to see where Tunisians actually buy groceries and negotiate over the price of French cheese, the Central Market is pure local life.
I had a feeling, but the feeling
Plus, tourists are so rare that nobody tries to sell you anything. Next, we walked about 5 minutes to Bab el Bhar, also known as Porte de France.
I want it all.
This was the gateway to the Medina, and where most people start their walk through the confusing yet captivating old city of Tunis. Deliberately built like a maze over 1300 years ago, it features narrow, twisting lanes that suddenly open into cafes, eateries, and shops of all kinds. It felt like we could walk around for hours and still not see everything, but you can actually go end to end in about 20 minutes. In any case, the confusion is part of the charm, and surrendering to the maze is actually the best way to see it. One of the Medina's most distinctive features is its unique doors. Brightly colored, almost every old house has one, and we couldn't help admiring each one we came across. Right in the middle of the souk is El Ali, a traditional restaurant located in an old home. Beautifully decorated, the food was presented in style and was tasty to boot. It was a nice respite as we filled up for more exploration. We later stopped by the 18th century Madrasa Slimania, one of the many Islamic schools in the Medina. Even with an art exhibition underway, the black and white marble and colorful tiles make it one of the Medina's most serene photogenic spots. You can explore the courtyard and some of the rooms on the ground floor. Although it's free to visit, most tourists seem to walk past, and that is a shame. Just a stone's throw from the madrasa is Zitouna Mosque. This is the oldest and largest mosque in Tunis, founded at the end of the 7th century. The entrance for tourists is actually on the other side, and is typically only open after 3 p.m. It wasn't just a place of prayer, but the most important place of higher learning in North Africa. Basically, the Oxford of the Maghreb. Famous alumni include Ibn Khaldun, widely considered the father of sociology. Women must cover their legs, shoulders, and hair, and men must also cover their legs if they are wearing shorts. Later, we made our way to the iconic Kasbah monument, which marks the day France recognized Tunisia's independence. The country had been under French rule for about 75 years before finally breaking free in 1956. Although the colonial era was a controversial time, it did leave an indelible mark on Tunisia. To get a better sense of the city's French soul, we headed to Avenue Habib Bourguiba, the city's Champs-Élysées. Built in the late 1800s, it's still lined with turn-of-the-century buildings and classic terrace cafes perfect for coffee and people watching. At the end stands the elegant 1894 clock tower, a gift from France to celebrate the new electric street lighting. Halfway down the avenue stands a dazzling Municipal Theatre, a 1902 Belle Epoque opera house. It's still hosting concerts, and we spotted people streaming out after a show one evening. On the other end of the avenue, you'll find an I Love Tunis sign, as well as the Saint-Vincent-de-Paul Cathedral. For almost a whole day we thought it was closed, until we realized the entrance was on its side along Rue Algiers. Designed by the French architect, it's named after a saint who once lived as a slave in Tunis. The church once served as the seat of the Archbishop of Carthage and is still used for Catholic services today. While you're in the city, take the time to spot some street art. When we arrived, we spotted an underpass that looked like an open-air gallery, but things weren't always this vibrant. It's only after the 2011 uprising that freer expression led to a street art movement that continues today. For dinner, we went to a simple Tunisian spot near our hotel. With the capital so close to the coast, fresh fish and shellfish are everywhere, so we ended up eating lots of seafood. Couscous, the national dish, is another must-try. We had some the next day, and while it looked simple, it was delicious, flavorful, and the kind of meal you want to end a full day of exploration. If you like breakfast with a great view, you have to check out Cafe Panorama. The entrance sits deep inside the Medina and is easy to walk past. But stepping in, the cafe opens up with a burst of colors and patterned tiles. It's super cozy with plenty of tables and nooks for quieter conversations, but the real gem is the rooftop with views that are some of the best in the city. Some Google reviews mention bad service or hidden prices, but we didn't get that. After breakfast, we made our way to Carthage. This was an ancient Mediterranean city that was super rich, super powerful, and everyone either wanted to trade with it or destroy it. As a history nerd, I had to see it for myself. We started at Bursa Hill, and while asking for directions, we were immediately pulled into a souvenir tent packed with mosaics in every size. After probably overpaying for a small one, plus something called a desert rose, we finally headed off to buy our ticket. Each ticket costs 12 dinars, about $4, and covers all the archaeological sites. Bursa Hill was the heart of ancient Carthage and holds the remains of the Punic living quarters. Not much survives now, apart from olive trees and some scattered 2nd century ruins. Standing above these ruins is the St. Louis Cathedral. It was built in the late 1800s by the French as a memorial to King Louis IX, who died near Tunis during the 8th Crusade. Though it no longer holds regular services, it's still often used for concerts. Now, we had planned to explore Carthage on foot, but a taxi driver approached us and offered to take us around for 70 dinars, about 20 euros, for an hour. It probably saved us a lot of time since some of the sites are fairly spread out. Therefore, off we went to our next stop, the Punic port. These harbours were Carthage's lifeline, fueling trade and supporting the powerful navy. However, during the Third Punic War, Rome basically wiped out Carthage, and a century later, they rebuilt a new city on the ruins. The Roman villas district is where wealthy Romans lived. Their houses seemed more like small palaces with many rooms, courtyards, gardens, and private baths. Many also had mosaic floors with animals and depictions of daily life. The elite class often head to the nearby theatre of Carthage to watch plays and musical performances. For the bloodier, more chaotic spectacles, they had them at the ancient amphitheatre. There isn't much left of it today, but it once held tens of thousands of spectators for gladiatorial games and animal fights. You can walk along the arena floor, which has a few surviving sections of stone and tunnels. And when the Romans wanted to relax, they had the baths of Antoninus. This is one of the largest Roman bath complexes in Africa. It had hot rooms, cold pools, saunas, and open courtyards where people socialized. Even if much of it is gone, you can tell how massive and impressive it must have been. After a full morning of ruins, we were ready for something completely different. So after grabbing lunch, we made our way to Tunisia's own Santorini-style cliff town, Sidi This is basically an Instagram heaven, but without the same crowds. The blue doors, white walls, and the sea in the distance makes it really quite beautiful. But Sidi didn't just decide to be blue and white because it looked pretty. People used lime to paint the walls white because it kept homes cool, and the blue on the doors helped protect the wood. Over time, this became the town's signature style. We just spent time walking around, taking photos, and checking out the small shops. You'll find ceramics, paintings, mosaics, and handmade souvenirs. And of course, we had to try bambaluni, a traditional Tunisian donut. We got one made fresh on the spot, and it was a nice treat to have while walking around. The town also has lots of viewpoints of the Mediterranean and the marina spread out below. If you want somewhere nice to sit and take it all in, the popular Café de Deli is not bad. You can enjoy live music while soaking up the views of the marina, and the coffee is decent, although a little pricier than usual. Another must-visit in Sidi is the Dar El Anabi Museum. This is a late 18th century Tunisian mansion that might look ordinary from the outside, but inside, it feels like stepping into someone's private home. Well, aside from the creepy mannequins. The space feels surprisingly intimate and is beautifully decorated. My wife even joked she wouldn't mind moving in. By the way, Tunis city center is very walkable, so we only use taxis to get to and from the airport, as well as to Carthage and Sidi Taxis are generally easy to find, and you can simply flag one down. Our ride from Sidi to the city center costs less than 15 dinars on the meter. You can also agree on the price in advance, but the meter usually ends up cheaper. Plus, many drivers don't speak English, so it can be really tricky to negotiate a price. Airport taxis are more expensive at typically 30 dinars to the Medina. Oh, and don't make the same mistake we did at the airport. If you change money here, keep the receipt because you can't convert back to USD or Euros without it. We chose to stay in a hotel which is just a few minutes on foot from Avenue Habib Bourguiba and Bab el Bhar, which is where the Medina is. Though the area around it is quite messy, we felt safe walking around in the evening. But if you're willing to spend a little bit more, staying in Sidi is hard to beat. After Tunis, we spent 4 days in Libya, a country few travelers get to see, yet is full of history, culture, and landscapes that feel untouched by mass tourism. Click here to check out our adventure now.